If you need to move that table down, you can.
There's some buttons
No, I'm
on the right-
okay.
Okay.
I'm okay. Chairman Hoffman and committee members, thank you for allowing me to speak.
You're very welcome.
My name is Lori Ford, and I am head of the DCS Oversight Group. We are a grassroots organization. I want to start out with some words spoken at a DCS disclosure convening on 10/17/2024. These words were spoken at that convening by Maricopa County presiding Judge Welty. Superior Court judges in Maricopa County and Juvenile Division have been forced to ignore the law on the timing of cases and on the application of the rules. We have been told the solution is at hand. I don't know why we would continue to trust you. We have been promised solutions that have not come. The governor's office and the legislature have an obligation that if they remove children, that they can move them through the system in accordance with the law. The Department of Child Safety spent millions of dollars on a computer system that doesn't work and has wholly failed parents and children and the ability of judges to follow the law. I don't see it getting better, and I'm not sure the answer is just patience and trust. This is not a thing that we can be patient. It just isn't. It just isn't. You know, we ought to be ashamed of ourselves. It's about children and families who are being impacted, children who aren't being adopted or aren't getting back with their parents the way they should. These are the words of presiding Judge Welty. Ms. Ptak has been Deputy General Counsel or General Counsel for DCS under the regimes of Greg McKay, part of Mike Faust, and the Sweeney-Lujan combo of CIO/CEO. Under her nose and with her knowledge, DCS has been found to violate due processes with non-disclosure issues. Maricopa County presiding Judge Welty had very strong words regarding this issue, as you just heard. An $86+ million computer system was installed on her watch. This system only works to the benefit of DCS, not parents or children. Very convenient for DCS, but unlawful at best. One would think as General Counsel or Deputy Counsel for DCS, she would have stepped up and demanded changes be made to make the guardian system lawful and give families due process as is required by law. Nope. Under her nose and with her knowledge, DCS has been violating ADA civil rights. So much so that the DOJ has been investigating them for the past 5 years. That investigation continues as DCS has continued to violate ADA. This investigation started, and one would think as counsel for the agency that she would have stepped up and demanded the department to adhere to such an important federal act. Nope. Hence the DOJ involvement. Ms. Ptak, as General Counsel for DCS, has had many opportunities to step up and hold the agency accountable to federal and state laws. Instead, she has turned a blind eye. Imagine what she'll do or won't do if crowned the director of the most powerful agency in the state. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your testimony. Ms. Ptak, we'll give you a couple minutes to respond just to the criticisms that were presented.
Mr. Chair, I think I addressed that in my testimony. Are there particular questions you want me to? No.
No? Okay.
Hoffman?
So I want to thank you for taking the time. You spent a lot of time with me one-on-one, and then obviously being here before the committee. 90 minutes is a while to be grilled. So I appreciate all of that. There are a few action items. I think you were taking notes throughout the hearing. If not, have your staff go back and watch the video. There were a few action items that came up throughout the hearing. So if you could please compile that information and get it back, just send it to each member on the committee. That would be much appreciated. I will say, in response to the criticisms that came up during public testimony, I hear those loud and clear, and I think as government, it is imperative that we take criticisms like that, both from the presiding judge as well as from members of the community, that we take those very, very seriously. This is an agency that when we talk about government and when we talk about the power of government and the force of government, right, those police powers that only the government can have, that can be utterly terrifying to people. And in this case, we're not just talking about that that you did do something wrong. The powers that are extended to this agency are the powers to take away someone's child. And it's the powers to take away their children on the suspicion of something in order to prevent, further issues. And that is a power that can only be wielded justly and can only be wielded with the greatest of due diligence. And so when there are concerns, as with the guardian system, as with the production of documents, as with the due process afforded to families who are fighting to rebuild that family, I don't think that we have the ability to take those lightly. And so I'm going to add one additional action item to you, and that's if you could please put together essentially a mission objective for how you're going to ensure that DCS under your leadership, because what I think we're looking for as a Senate, especially I can speak, on behalf of what I think I've heard from members of the majority here and other conversations I've had with members of the majority. We are looking for stability and continuity and corrective action in some of these deficits, right? And so I would like you to put together essentially something that hopefully all members of the Senate, but especially the majority, at least the majority, right, since that's the side I'm a member of, can have confidence in the work that you're going to do and the direction you're going to lead the agency in ensuring that families are given not just the bare minimum of due process, but they are afforded every possible opportunity to fight for their children and to get their children back.
Sure.
Because I'll tell you, it is emotional and gut-wrenching to think about having a child stripped from your home. And so I would just ask that you would take that request very seriously, put the requisite time into it. And I say this not as, sometimes we will hold things out and we'll say, well, we're going to recommend that your confirmation be held. And that's really a wait and see approach, right? I think what you're going to hear is this committee has faith that you can provide the leadership that's necessary. But I am going to recommend that we hold you off at least until we get this response, because it is so, it is of such paramount importance that we understand your insight and your vision for how to ensure that due process and that those rights are upheld.
Sure.
Okay?
Okay.